Hello everybody, welcome back to more world building. Last week I discussed quite a big chunk of lore about the god of grief and bloodshed, and also her cult of worshippers, the bone priests. And today I will be showing you something else I've made, something entirely new, and it happens to be an animal. Okay, it's an animal that has been afflicted with disease, and I'll be telling you more about this. But first I'd like to thank you for clicking, for subscribing, because out of all the videos that you saw on your homepage, you happened to click on mine, so I'm very grateful. And I hope you'll stay till the end because it's gonna get real fun and possibly depressing. But now about the lore. So this is gonna start off weird, but have you ever thought much about sharks? Because I personally never much had happy thoughts about sharks, because I got traumatized one time when I was a kid. I was probably like 7 or 8, and I had this neighbor of mine. She was a college student, and I liked to just sort of spontaneously crash into her room. And one time we watched a movie together. It was called Deep Blue Sea, and oh my god, did that movie traumatize me. So there was this one guy in the movie whose face I never forgot, because that movie was so scary to me. It traumatized me for years after I watched it. And only as I grew older, and this is like, I'm talking about around the time the Avengers started becoming a thing, that I realized that, well shit, that guy was actually Samuel L. Jackson. Anyway, these guys are insane scientists. Why are they insane? Because they're studying sharks somewhere in the deep sea, but they're studying them inside an underwater lab. Okay, and how are they studying them? They are turning sharks into like genius sharks. So these sharks can actually think way smarter than you can, and it's so bad because they're apex predators. They have like such a high killer instinct compared to humans, And I remember there's one scene where it just pretended to be knocked out, pretended to be asleep from tranquilizers. But then as soon as like some doctor came up close to it, and it just ripped his arm off. That movie just scared me for a good 2 to 3 years. Like so much that every night I would just turn the lights off and I would just run across the floor and jump onto my bed. Like, why? Because the floor was the ocean, obviously, and the sharks would come get me if I didn't make it to the bed quick enough. And I even forced myself to acquire like a sleeping position where I would just lie face down, completely still for hours every single night, with all my limbs just like spread out into like a starfish, so that the sharks won't see me, because I'm laying as flat as possible. And also so that if there were any waves, I wouldn't get knocked off the bed, because like I had my limbs all spread out so I could just hold on to the sheets. And yeah, those were the good old days. But that sweet nostalgia about sharks I had when I was a kid was what inspired me to make this one particular shark. And I'm going to call it the gazing shark, okay? The gazing shark. And if you haven't noticed, it's going to be pink. Or it is pink. And a recent video, by the way, where I drew like 5 dragons, also inspired me, where I just did this one dragon that looked like it was like fleshy looking all over, like a human. And it looked pretty creepy to me. Like it didn't creep me out while I was drawing it, but it creeped me out like several days after I drew it. I was like, wow, I could like make a human shark. That would be fantastic. So that's what I did today. And I've mentioned many times before how I had a vague reason on why there are just so many fleshy and human looking monsters in Persevera. Okay, but today I'll be finally telling you the reason, and it's because they have been afflicted with a disease, and this disease I'm going to be calling flesh fever. Okay, it's flesh fever. And flesh fever is a disease that has existed since what seems like the beginning of human history. So it has existed for so long that people don't even remember a time when this disease never even existed, as if that era didn't even exist in the past. Like it was some fairy tale or just a plain myth. And the entire world of Persevera itself, as we know it today, is simply just a world where we all live in, and the sky is blue, the grass is green, and flesh fever just happens to exist. So it's just a thing. And what is flesh fever itself, you may ask? Well, flesh fever is a disease originally contracted from... Is it contracted or contacted? I think it's contracted from a race of demons. And nobody knows how it began, but... Oh, well, I mean, I do, like, because I'm Velga the Observer. I'm the creator. And you're gonna know a little bit, because I'm gonna be telling you a brief explanation. But the people of Persevera, they just don't know, okay? I'll be telling you more about the disease itself in another video, but today we're going to be briefly talking about it only, because we're gonna be talking about mainly the gazing shark. But so, anyway, nobody in Persevera knows how it started. They just know it came from demons, and it turns living creatures into humanoid-looking creatures. And you might wonder, like, wait a minute, like, it came from demons, but it makes everything look human? And yes, to that I say, yes it does. Why does it do that? Why does it make everything turn into human-looking monsters, even though it came from demons? Well, I'll tell you why, because the demons in Persevera, I'll give you a little tease, the demons actually look identical to humans, which is why we have a lot of human-looking monsters just running around. And for today, we observe the gazing shark. A shark afflicted with flesh fever. Behold, behold. It's got a human face, as you can see. It's very creepy. This thing in front of its face is actually its nose. It might look like gills, but the gills are actually in the back behind his ears. And it's got a human ear, by the way. But the thing in the front is actually his nostrils, because it still looks like he's got a nose like a human nose in the shape of like a shark's snout. But yeah, it's got like gill-shaped, human-shaped nose. It's got like a gill-shaped nostrils slapped on top of like a human-shaped shark snout. Weird. And it's constantly gazing forward with its human face, with its human eyes, because that's just where the eyes are. Just like a human's face, you know, the eyes are in the front, they're looking forward. They're not on the sides, not like a shark, not like a chicken, not like a lizard, you know, like our eyes are in the front like a dog's, like a cat's. We're mammals. Well, I guess not all mammals like do that, but like our eyes in the front, you know, shark's eyes are on the sides, and it has a human's facial expression. It's clearly smiling like most sharks are, and I named it the gazing shark because of this, as you can see, because it's always gazing forward and it's always staring at you. And if you don't know, sharks don't actually blink. Great white sharks especially, they don't blink. What they do when they bite down onto anything to not hurt their eyes is sort of they can roll their eyes back, so all you see is just like the whites. And the cornea, the pupils, they're all like inside out, like it's rolled back, like, so all you see is just white. So it's always gazing, not blinking at all, gazing forward with its human eyes. And as you can see, its body is quite slender towards the end, so it's not much of a speedster. It doesn't have a lot of horsepower, like it's more of a gentle glider, like a serpent. It's like a great white shark can just like swim so fast it can torpedo out of the water when it wants to like hunt seals. But this one doesn't. It swims so gently that it doesn't disturb the water, and the water remains absolutely still. Like imagine there are just no currents in the water and you're just enjoying yourself swimming out at sea. And the water is very calm that day. You might even be close to shore, but like it's very calm, you know, and the last thing you'll see is just this human looking face just gazing at you. And it's just slowly coming closer. And it's so uncanny that you cannot stop looking at it. You can't stop, you just keep looking at it. And you've never seen a smiling human face looking like that before. You cannot quite put your finger on it, but it's very eerie and you cannot stop looking. Like you're frozen in place because you've seen a ghost. And before you know it, you're just dead. That's how it goes. That's what the gazing shark does. And I also tried to give it a background that shows how this shark is just gently swimming in dark waters. Like the water is just dark. And there are some reflections coming from above. As you can see, there's like a little bit of glow coming from above, and there are surface reflections on the top side of the shark's body, and a little bit of reflection from below, like a little bit of glow from below. But other than that, it's just a marine snow all over the picture. You know, like these little particles of just stuff floating at sea, like floating around in the water. Those are called marine snow. And there are also some air bubbles coming from below. And I'm gonna be going on CSP now. Let's see, am I still recording? I am. Good. So here we are on CSP now. This is the illustration. It's got a creepy looking face. Oh, let me see if I can paint over this. Hang on, let me get my red brush. Let's use this red. Okay. Oh, it's got this around here. Imagine if, you know how a shark has endless supplies of teeth? Like if it falls out, it's got rows more inside that it keeps growing as backup, and that it can just roll out, so it can just keep on replacing teeth that have fallen out with newer teeth from the back. It's crazy, but imagine if instead of like prickly looking teeth like a shark's, it's actually a human shaped teeth. And I made sure to make it look human because like, oh, and disturbingly human, even more human than human teeth, because lots of these are just like incisors and premolars and molars. There are no canines, so it's very creepy looking. Yeah, I'm really proud of what I did there. And I love this faint glow around the eye. And as you can see, right there, it's like the black pupil. Just tiny black pupil just gazing forward. Creepy looking gill. And I like these reflections because it's darker around the outer parts of the nose gill thing because it's catching light from below. And it's got like a human jawline, but the neck part is quite like a shark's. As you can see, a human ear. And these are the reflections of the surface reflecting onto the upper part of the body of the shark. And oh, I forgot to mention the tail. And I've always thought that tails kind of look like this part in the center looked like a mouth if I could like attach an eye to their tail. So that's what I did today. I turned the tail into like a mouth. So as you can see, this is like the head was sword shaped. This would be the nose. This little indentation even looks like a nostril. This is like the mouth. If you little preview here, it's gonna look like this. Scratching away. Okay, here we go. So that's the outline. Is it outline? the silhouette that I have erased in, erased in for you. And this here is like the eye. Not actually the eye, it's like more like a, it could be anything. It could be like a spot, or it could be a wart, and this could be just like a bulge. But it's quite creepy looking, and it might serve as, you know how certain species of animals, they have like a false face. Like you might see this and think it's its eye, and you might try to avoid this because it's like, it looks like a face, like it's gonna come attack you, and you avoid this, but you don't know that the actual face is right here in the front. And while you're busy being scared of this face in the back, this face in the front just kind of bite down and rip your head off. That's very scary. And I like how the arm looks like somebody tied the ends of a shirt, and then this is what it looks like. Like it cannot push its arms out of this just pockets of skin hanging off the sides. Is really cool. And I'm gonna be showing you some variations I did. So the very first one, and the very first of these sketches are the most worthless ones, and the more I show you, especially towards the end, the more valuable they are, because the first ones are always just like sacrifices, like they're just like stuff that I doodle just so I can sort of see, like with my, I don't know what to call it, my third eye. Well, just to get a good feel of things. So I did that doodle, and then I did this. This is like a portrait from the front, and is mirrored right down the center. And it's got no eyes. It's just got a lot of teeth and this human-looking giant nose, like shark snout that's in the shape of a human nose. And then here we arrive at the second one. It's got this spread out cheeks, kind of like almost turning into a hammerhead shark. And it's got shorter teeth compared to before now. Like the one before has very long teeth, as you can see. It's like super long, it's like that long. But now it's this short. Hang on, sorry. And we come to the third one. This looks more like a camel, and I wanted the cheeks to sort of look like it's a stingray's flaps on the sides, and this could be like its chin. And this is its teeth split down the center. This really looks like a camel, especially the fat snout where it's just coming out of the face, but then as it goes towards the front, it just gets skinnier. And these on the sides are its eyes. And this is the brow ridge. And now we arrive at finally this. This looks a lot like what the final design's face. But the thing is, this one looks a lot like some kind of goblin, or like a humanoid looking creature that would have like 2 arms and 2 legs. It looks like this looks more like a monster that would walk on land instead of a fish. And so I did this, and this looks a lot like a shark. And I got rid of this jaw because it's pointy, right? This jaw is pointy, and I got rid of this protruding nose, like a proboscis monkey. I think it's what they're called. And now I made the snout look long, and stubby, like a shark snout. And I shortened the chin, or I made him have no chin at all. And now he looks a lot like a weird shark. Lovely. And now, the next part of the sketch, I came up with its upper body. Okay. Looks a lot like the final design, but the rib cage here, it sort of ends and goes into a skinny shape. And I thought it was kind of weird because no matter what I did in the back, it always made it look like it didn't belong, you know? Like it's almost as if I am designing like a shark in the front, and whatever I did in the back, like I'm trying to do it right now for you, you know, whatever I'm doing in the back, it just looks like I stuck another part of a different creature onto it. Like it didn't look like it belonged. So I got rid of it. And here I am with a more streamlined mid section look. So I sort of made the rib cage end further, and then it continued to like a longer looking belly, but at this point I don't have the lower body part yet. And whoa. I gave it human legs. It looks like it's imagine if a human is in the shape of a dog when it comes to limbs, and this is just a human swimming like doggy style. It's so strange. And I made the tail look more like a whale's, so there would be like a spine going right down the center, and it's sort of just like spreading downwards like this, and there would be like the other side, which is the exact same, is gonna look like this, like that. See that? And it's the thigh here going all the way to the feet. It's continuing as a membrane here, like it's webbed like duck feet all the way to the tail. And now we arrive at sketch number 9. And so because I didn't quite like this, no matter what I did, it just looked weird, and the rib cage thing, it bothered me a lot, because it still made it seem like no matter what I did to the rib cage, it made it look like it's as if I'm sticking a front part, which is the shark, into another monster in the back. So I did this, but this made it look like a tadpole. Like it's just like a big butt. Like it's like a chest that goes all the way to a butt. It looks like a tadpole. Like it's like a swimming bean in the back. And it didn't look like it would be functional. It actually looked like this thing can just sink and like drown. Like you won't be able to swim, or just like wriggle around on the sea floor. So I did this, and this looks a lot like Rayquaza from Pokemon. The lower body, this looks like it's gonna shoot electricity, because I played the game. I think it was called Emerald Green, was it? Pokemon? I don't remember. Where one of the final bosses was like Rayquaza. Wait a minute. I think Emerald Green was like a Venusaur. I don't remember, but like everybody knows Rayquaza if you know Pokemon, I guess. So the feet look like a frog's, but the way the legs look like a frog's legs, but the way the toes are sort of spread out, it looks like Rayquaza's fins thingy. It looks like it can just shoot electricity. And but I quite liked what I did here with the midsection. It's like serpentine, like it's awesome. So I came up with this, which is the final design, and I'm really happy with it. As you can see, all the things I showed you before are there. You get a lot of this nostrils. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4 nostrils. The brow ridge right here. Yeah, and the creepy looking teeth. Everything's here. I think this looks awesome. And just to hide it, this is what it looks like. Yeah. It's finished looking like this. Hang on. There. Awesome. So, that would be all for the Gazing Sharks lore for today. And as I've said, I'll be talking about Flesh Fever in detail in another video. Like, I want to know, like, I know I want to possibly implement how all creatures afflicted with Flesh Fever would just slowly gain human consciousness, and at some point might actually suffer being in the state that they're in. because they cannot quite do anything about it because they're stuck in a monster's body, but with monster instincts, overriding all human thoughts they might possibly have. Okay, so that, I think I want to implement that at least. And I also have to admit that I actually wanted to make more lore about anything that might be related to all the lore I've made before. And this is more of a random thing, like a new thing again once more that I'm designing. It's like just a weird urge of mine to keep everything related somehow by telling you stories after stories after stories, and they're just all related, like sequels, you know, like, but that part of my brain didn't happen to work, and that's okay. It sometimes happens. What I did was just I drew something else without any mental restrictions. I just wanted to have fun, and all I did was I kept drawing along the same vibes, you know, easy enough, just make it creepy looking and dark, and without any pressure, because I at least know I'll be able to make this one creature exist somehow one way or another in Persevera. And how I see it is just like how I might do random stuff from time to time, and they might seem random to you, even to me maybe, but I know I will definitely be able to put all of these into Persevera later on. So I'm actually not wasting any time by doing this. I actually might be doing myself a favor by decompressing, you know, like relaxing my mind, just doing stuff like this, designing stuff that just comes to me naturally, instead of constantly trying to stay on this sort of conveyor belt of world building, just trying to come up with more and more stories that always has something to do with the story before. Like in the future, there will definitely be a place for the gazing sharks to exist. I just don't have it yet. Like it might be some distant island out at sea where a lot of sharks live, and on rare occasions you would come across a human-looking shark, although no one would live to tell the tale. And that's about it for this video. I'm gonna be talking more about these human-looking monsters in the future, most definitely, because the things I have in my head is just, it's never gonna run out. It's all in my head. I just need to show you and I need to draw it. And I'm gonna be talking more about the disease in the future too, so stay tuned for that. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're still here, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, because it helps get more people to come over here and watch together with you and me. The more the merrier, building a bigger community here. And yeah, I had a lot of fun today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I hope this inspires you to come up with some stories or just draw, you know, just to have fun. And name is Vilga the Observer. Thanks a lot for watching once more, and I'll be seeing you next week. Bye-bye.